So Louis, as we discussed, we're into the World Cup of the really important things, not the,
Hmm.
the stupid World Cup, the actual World Cup, the World Cup of breakfasts. So we've done the World Cup of supermarkets in the UK, and
Yeah,
we agreed. And I think I saw people in the comments agreed it was it was a combination of Waitrose and M&S, which I think is the clear
yeah.
final. So I agree with there were some Waitrose fans there, but now we're on to breakfasts. How do we split this right? Because unfortunately, there is a bit more variance here. Are we
Mm.
talking about, are we just limiting it to, let's say, a McDonald's breakfast versus a some like because it's so expanded, like literally like the expanded World
Yeah.
Cup, like we could go in so many different directions because people may argue that like their local calf is something we got to bring into the conversation.
Oh yeah, greasy spoon
Starbucks is
breakfast.
something they
Yeah,
bring into the
yeah.
conversation.
So
um
Starbucks. I'm vetoing that. That doesn't get through the qualification rounds. I
okay.
refuse to talk about Starbucks.
Okay. Well, I'll bring in my local try and get sponsorship for Chelsea Echo for my favorite local place, which is Brown Bag, which
Ah, you
I
told me
I
about this.
this is an incredible place. Like I used to be Starbucks always been in my heart, but Brown Bag is now the new baby. Like it's the heir to the throne. Like that's it's kind of all my attention. They do a great selection of breakfast, but let's people won't know what I'm talking about. So firstly,
We
I'm
could
putting out.
we label that is okay. Like in terms of that though, right? Is it like greasy spoon or like a little bit of a higher end greasy spoon, or is it your boutique sort of avocado toast sort of gaff?
Well, you can get avocado toast, but you can get a bacon roll. You can get pancakes. You can get like
Okay,
a
so
breakfast
yeah,
sandwich. There's
is it
there's an it's
is it sourdough
I
bread
think
though? Is it one of those where it's like sourdough and all that sort of stuff?
I think there's a little bit of sourdough, but I had a bacon roll the other week, and it wasn't that like bougie. Like it just was a nice bacon roll.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I mean, I think if you're gonna do it, like we sort of you have okay, we have if we're gonna tier those breakfast joints, like you've got greasy spoon, like your traditional like the sausages aren't like Cumberland nice ones. But they just, you go in, they do the job solid. Like we're talking like Wimpy's or like a Weatherspoons, but like in your traditional little calf, right? Like the Regency in Westminster. So
or,
that's
or
kind
I'll throw out actually somewhere you could go pre Chelsea, the
of.
Mona
Oh,
Lisa at the World's End.
see, I've been to the Mona Lisa once, and I wasn't actually particularly impressed by it, which was a bit gutted by because we were trying. We used to have the Chelsea kitchen, me and my dad,
Yeah,
and I loved the Chelsea. The Chelsea kitchen was perfect for me. Um, it's like an old stock pot. But I mean, if we're doing shout outs, by the way, I don't want to talk about one place, Tunbridge Wells. It's worth having a Google. I'll send you some pictures later. No, I sent that big fucking sandwich I sent you a few weeks ago, mate.
yeah.
Sanjay's, St John's Road, Tunbridge Wells. Oh my god! If you want bang for your buck and some unbelievable scram cooked by the most awesome Sri Lankan bloke and his family, it is fucking spectacular. So I recommend that, and even flow for coffee. But I would say if we're going to do it, right? Are we doing? We just going round of 16, or do you want to go like 8 and down?
Let's go eight and down. Let's
Okay, right. Let's get the obvious ones out of the way. Let's put Mackey's breakfast in there.
yeah.
Right. We'll put in the spoons breakfast. Um, greasy spoon. I'm going to put in a bit of a rogue one. Shakshuka,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
unbelievable. And even more rogue because I had it a few times when I was at Gatwick, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is really good. Why do we not do this more?" Nando's breakfast. Have you ever had Nando's breakfast?
Nando. Oh man, no. This is
Nando's
this is opening
breakfast.
my eyes. I didn't even know that was on the table.
Oh yeah, okay, right. So this is what we need to discuss. So like next, if we get into Europe next season, and we're flying from Gatwick, we'll go get a Nando's breakfast. But basically, I had my favorite thing I've had there ever. I did it was like an eggs Benedict, but with Nando's
Yeah.
chicken rather than ham. It was I was blown away. The piri piri mixing with the béarnaise. Oh, it's beautiful. We've got those four. I don't. So if we don't, well, Shakshuka's not really a brand, so we'll go. Okay, Grease Spoon, Mackey's, Weatherspoons, Nando's. I'm trying to think other brands.
Burger King do breakfast, and I never thought it was terrible, but it was not. It wasn't. It did. It doesn't. It's like it's a worse and probably more expensive version of Mackey's. So like no. Um, we mentioned I think I mentioned Subway do a breakfast. Um,
Subway breakfast. Yeah, so we got that one as
they
well.
do a breakfast.
We've got three more to get. So three. So we go
The
for.
Pret. I mean, I mean Pret's
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of all day, isn't it? I mean, I
yeah,
guess
it's
you
good.
can
I like a prep breakfast.
Pret. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I've never had Pret breakfast, but I know that you could technically go in there and
yeah.
have breakfast.
So I got some Waterloo on the way to. That's the thing. I'm going to be in an advert, Dan. I'm going to be on. I had to act on Tuesday. So, but on the way to the shoot in Brentford, I went. I saw we were. I was in Waterloo, so I nipped in. The breakfast range is good. Like their hot breakfast stuff is they got three different types of porridge. You got the standard porridge. You've got I think they've got like their own special one, which they're doing Waterloo, and then obviously everyone's got kind of their own one. And then there's like a chia seed and coconut milk one, which was really nice. Then you've got like the fancy, like the bacon and cheese turnovers. They do their own version of that,
Yeah.
which is a bit more fancy with like tomatoes and all that sort of stuff. And they even got like hot boxes with some decent stuff. So Pret's a good shout. I don't mind Pret. Especially on
Does Taco Bell do breakfast yet over here, or is that an American thing? I feel like
I
that's
think
an.
that's an American thing.
Mm.
I mean, for me, it's like the standout winner for me every single time. But we can name however many we want. The winner is always a greasy spoon. I love a greasy, like
See, I
a
think
proper.
the final is probably your traditional place that you can get an English breakfast. That isn't a chain. That's a local place.
Yeah,
Versus, I think the only chain one that gets close and probably most people are going to suggest is Mackey's. Now, I think McDonald's it's kind of cheating, but the reason McDonald's is close to winning on penalties. I'm not saying it's going to win, but I'm saying it's close to winning. It probably
yeah,
goes to penalties is when you go abroad. The selection of
yes.
McDonald's breakfasts in America. Have you ever had a griddle? Is it called a griddy or a griddle? In New York, I had a thing called
Fucking
yeah. I'm
gritty.
not even kidding. It was yeah. I'm not even I'm not even kidding. It was you have to do dance whilst you're eating it. It was called a McGriddy, I think, or a McGriddle. I
It's
can't remember. It was
McGriddle,
something.
isn't it?
I think it was McGriddle, and then you do the McGriddy after. Um, the and we had it in Times Square, and it was, and also the other great thing, and I was like, this is like peak American experience. I was able to get like a Fanta slushy in the morning with my American breakfast, which I thought, some people may say it's like, well, no, because I say it's living life to the full extent whilst you're in America. So
Yeah, no. For me, it's like there's that's not for me. I mean, even when I was in New York, I didn't go Mackey's. I wish I had just to try it. But
mm,
it's like we went to
mm.
there was like I went to I like the proper little bagel spots. That was my thing. Like going in to
Oh
be
man,
able to American.
if we were expanding this to American, I would say the best bagel, and it was for breakfast, was a place we found in Brooklyn. It was off like the beaten path. Like it was, we found this clearly just local bagel place. I think Nick had cheese, cream cheese, and something else, and I think I just had some form of a breakfast roll. I can't remember what exactly. It was like probably bacon and egg and cheese or something like that. We both had it, and we were walking over Brooklyn Bridge whilst eating it, and we got up super early to go to Dumbo, and then walk across the Brooklyn Bridge to get to Manhattan. And I mean, it's the best bagel I've ever had in my life. Like it was
Yeah,
just ridiculous. It is one of the best breakfast experiences of my entire life. But I can't remember. Unfortunately, I can't remember the place. But it's a New York bagel probably does. But I feel like in some ways that's slightly cheating. But our American listeners can probably sympathize. I know Krispy Kreme do breakfasts in America. I
oh
know that
yeah,
for
no,
sure.
that's not for
So,
me. Not for me. It's
but
too
it's like
much.
I can't. To me, I'm like too. was it the two glazed donuts with like I can't do the sweet and savory thing. To me, it's just like sacrilege. I just can't do it. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen.
No, yeah, no. For me, it's like I don't really have breakfast anymore. Like it's a rare occasion. Maybe I'll do it on like a Saturday. Like my whole thing is like when I'm trying to like cut my weight, I'm always like no breakfast. I fast
What
between
are you
like
into the intermittent fasting? Is that
yeah.
it?
So that's how I lost 25 kilos a couple of years ago. I didn't eat.
Fair enough.
So at the minute especially, I'm only drinking water, black coffee, dark Coke, and then maybe if I'm out, I'll have a couple of pints of mates. But like that's a rarity once a week. And then I literally between 8 p.m. 12 p.m. as in noon the next day, I don't eat. So I'm very much kind of like I leave stuff like that. But when I do have breakfast, it's like I like my favorite thing right now is I love like Sanjay's I told you about. If I want something dirty and I want like a proper English breakfast, what I like about those sort of places and why they win for me over Mackey's is if you go in enough, you build a rapport with your boss man.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Like you got that in the chicken shop, so you've got that. Whereas a boss, or you go to the news agents, oh boss, what's going on? Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you have that in your greasy spoon as well, or your coffee shop, which is why you should go local. It is the best feeling in the world. Like you know when you go to a bar and someone goes, "Oh, usual is it?" Oh, it's like, oh, it's the best feeling. I love it. It's
Do you
like
feel like
nothing
you've
beats that
succeeded in
feeling.
life?
Oh mate, it's the greatest. Like
Human
literally when I went
connection.
to so when I went to I go to Sanjay's now. Like there's times where I'm like, okay, I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I come in, he's already started cooking me what I normally have. He's like, oh Louis, I saw you like because I kind of do it where I do it to get my steps in as well to make myself feel slightly less guilty. It's obviously completely full of bullshit, but it's respected. It's like it's on the other side of the busy road, but instead of walking to the nearest traffic lights where I can cross over basically and be there in 2 minutes, I walk down the end and walk back myself to basically try and get some steps in. Having said all that, though, considering it is 11 o'clock and we're literally recording that now as we speak, I am like very tense by Mackey's breakfast, but I think it's 11 it ends. Or is it
I
11
think
o'clock?
they pushed it up to half 11. I thought they pushed it up
Okay, the
to.
question is, Dan, do we put the order in on it on a Mackey's breakfast while we're here, while we're talking?
I see. The thing is with a Mackey's breakfast, right? Like the reason it's probably cynically I've taken it down in a peg is because it took away the bagel, and once it took away the bagel, I just that was a very sad day. Like I've adjusted to the McMuffin, but never quite the same. Never quite the same as the bagel. So I think today we'll go greasy spoon, and then it's just what greasy spoon you're going to.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
But
I'll
but
go for
on
Jays.
on some more on some less important things. Xabi Alonso, is it? Are we going to bottle it, or is it actually going to happen, Louis?
See, I don't know how to feel about this, right? Because it feels redundant to dream about getting someone serious, if you know what I mean. Because I look at it and I
Yeah,
go, well, if they're just coming into this current system, they'll be gone in a year. Like, there's no way
yeah.
Xabi
He's
Alonso.
gonna he's gonna fall out. He's gonna think to himself, "What am I doing here? What a
This is it.
waste of
And so
time."
I'm sure people that are non-Chelsea fans who do listen to this podcast, because there are a few, to be fair, like they'll be sitting there and they'll be going, "Well, Chelsea always used to sack their manager, so why do you care about it now?" It's like, okay, well, because you had a core and a team and a culture which kind of just meant it was irreplaceable or was replaceable. Sorry, like it didn't matter. You could just kind of duck in and out and do whatever you needed to do. Whereas now, realistically, the way they've built it out, you need to have a coach there for a sustained period of time to
Yeah,
actually have an impact on something, and you need to work with them. It was really interesting because I did share with Glenn Hoddle on Monday, and he was talking about sporting directors and coaches. It's like, well, the best combinations of coaches and sporting directors work together. If you look at the top, if you look at the elite levels, it's Michael Edwards and Jurgen Klopp. It's Tichy Bergestan and Pep Guardiola in multiple places. It's Mikel Berta or Michael Berta, whatever his name is, and Mikel Arteta. they've finally going to get
Well,
over line.
and
So it's like
also, I mean, Luis Campos and Luis
Luis
Enrique.
Campos, Luis Enrique. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is it.
Mm.
It's like you want something serious. You can't be going, we're the smartest people in the room. We know better than you when you don't. Like it's
Yeah,
like it's when your coach. I mean, we'll just use Maresca as an example, right? And I mean, look, you and I think we're fairly vocal in our criticism of Maresca, and he wasn't really our bag, right? Other people loved him, fine, right? But when your coach, who has won the Conference League, got top four, and won the Club World Cup, goes, he's out for the season. We need some centre backs, and you go, nah, it's fine. We'll figure it out. We've seen this great opportunity with Alejandro Garnacho, though. It's like what you've done, or what they did is it's a bit like the stereotype of a bloke, right, being sent out to do the shop and given a list and going, I need this, and then they say, oh look, but that's 3 for 2. We'll buy that instead. It's like why are you doing that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's like you need to be able to work in tandem. And I think if you look at what happened at Leverkusen as well, Xabi Alonso worked in tandem. So it's like, okay, well, if you want to grow, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable with a serious coach or whoever the coach is, right?
mm.
And you need to look in for the long haul. Leaving these guys in charge again, for these 5 sporting directors again, to pick the new coach again, it's like, why? What? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's interesting to me. I think Cy Phillips has done quite a bit of reporting on this in terms of it appears, at least from currently, that actually Dave Fallows is apparently taking a bit of a command of the situation, which I have to say, not surprising at all because of the environment he walked into. And it was always the hope when he got appointed that he would eventually become the most senior person. And in a dream scenario, he spearheads this appointment and then Bela Igbali. I don't think out of any like, oh, he's now great. I've always said I think if the sporting directors get sacked, it's more because I think it's an ego thing of getting annoyed that everyone's now turning their attention to Igbali as the problem, and then realize we don't need all of these sporting directors. We don't need all these guys. They're not good enough. And the thing with Maresca as well, like I think I wrote it the day he left the club. Like you just listed out the all of the signings in the 2 summers he was present, and you look at that list and you go, and then I think it was like 500 million over the 2 windows, uh,
Mm.
give or take, and you sit there and go like, it's incredible that anyone defends these sporting directors. Like that is the recruitment level you are working with. Um, the bulk of names that haven't worked, the bulk of names that are just like average, distinctly average, or haven't moved the needle at all, or aren't even here, like still, like in terms of from December 2024 to now, is just incredible. So I don't know. I'm cynical because firstly, I still have doubts he's even going to get into the door to begin with. Like I still have skepticism in terms of like negotiations because we've
Yeah.
seen it multiple times, right? Like negotiations in the Clear Lake era usually go wrong. Um, and I think that that's something that firstly kind of stands out. If I was an objective advisor to Xabi Alonso, I would sit there and go, you got to think of it like this. Arne Slot, if he remains, is, I think, a dead man walking at Anfield.
Yeah.
I think it's going to become an Eric Ten Hag situation where they should have sacked him at the end of this season. Um, he may well be gone by Christmas.
Mm.
Can you just wait 4 or 5 months for the job that you probably actually really want? And we'll get into a separate point if Alonso actually becomes head coach, because I do want to fire back a lot of the people don't want Alonso because he played for Liverpool. I roll my eyes. Like there's a lot I could fire back on that in terms of like why I don't think that matters at all and why that shouldn't even come to the equation whether he's good enough for Chelsea or not. Like that's not.
Which I
But
agree with, by the way.
I
With
but
you,
I
not with.
also do think that like from his point of view, and I'd probably say the same about Michael Carrick at Man United. Like that job could become available in the next 6 months as well.
Oh, he's yeah. I
So
mean, really, really. I don't think so.
I
Some
think
people
I
that
th-
if it was
I
different, that
think
one.
no. I mean Carrick hasn't had any European football to deal with. He has had 3 week after 3 week after 3 week, and there have been, even in that luxury, really, there have still been games where you can still see flaws, and it's still predicated on Man United doing good business this summer. Um, I think that Michael Carrick he's obviously done a really good job. Like, I'm not, but listen, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did a good job for a period of time until you actually see tangibly that Michael Carrick has an extended period of improvement with Man United. I think that job is always going to be susceptible, as with all the big jobs, right? That it could go wrong. But I just on a broad point, Alonso has to be thinking to himself, given the current state of play, mainly at Liverpool more than anywhere else, that should I just wait? Should I just
Hmm.
wait?
Hmm.
There is a risk that if you wait, the Chelsea job goes to someone else. Arne Slot turns things round. That job doesn't become available, and you're waiting even longer. Um,
Hmm.
I also do think there's always this thing. It's a bit like footballers, right? It's like we're dealing with elite competitors, and I always think for someone like Alonso, maybe it was the allure of Klopp going to Liverpool in 2015, or the allure of any big job, right? Where you're joining a power that seems to be waning, a power that, and a club that seems to. Alonso is not replacing a great Chelsea manager. He's not walking in and replacing Thomas Tuchel. He's not. He, to a lot of people, to a lot of us, Chelsea feels like this at the moment.
Yeah.
So if a guy comes in and galvanizes things, their reputation is going to go like that very, very quickly. And I think there's probably that part of it as well to Xabi Alonso. He goes, if I'm the guy that kind of resurrects Chelsea, what does that do for my reputation? Now, sorry to ramble, but I think that it's the thing we were just talking about. It's all predicated on us having a good transfer window, which I just
Which is
don't
still no,
think is going to
no.
happen.
It's not just one window. It's not just one window. That's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
You just
it's not
said
just one window. Yeah,
you've just said, you know, what if I'm the guy that resurrects Chelsea? I think every single person who's walked through the door in Clear Lake area has thought that.
yeah.
Every single one. What if I'm the guy? What if I'm the guy? And then they've come in and gone into this fucking hailstorm of like whatever it is that's going on behind the scenes, which they don't want to tell people. We can't which is just clearly a load of rubbish, by the way, which everyone can see himself.
Maybe they're doing a bunch of McGriddies behind the scenes.
Maybe they are doing a bunch of McGriddies all the time. But at the same time, it's kind of going well. You look at this situation. I just think you need to have. If he was to come and sit down opposite them, and I go, and he goes, "You want to be this? You need this, which is what every single elite person has probably said who's come in, whether that be Nagelsmann, Enrique, Campos, whoever they've got that came in for the other sporting director interviews, Christopher Vivell, who's now the reason why I think Manchester United will do well is with Vivell and Carrick working together. It's kind of a case going, well, if you don't want to listen to all of these people, and then when another elite person comes to the table and goes, we need this, and you're still not going to listen, what's the point in that elite person?
Mm.
They
I
don't
can
want.
see a scenario where, like, because we've heard whispers for quite a while now that Tottenham are interested in um, Winstanley, and even if Spurs stay up, which I think they probably actually are now going to stay up, um,
Hideous.
if they stay up, like, you still think there's got to be there's going to be some changes at that club.
Hmm.
They've averted disaster, and that's maybe why, I don't know why they're looking at him, but that's why maybe Winstanley. I mean, there's already been a few rumors out there that maybe Winstanley's going to move on this summer potentially, which would be a great day. But it's not only just him. Like, it's very easy for me to sit here and go, in the dream world and quite the obvious world, like the serious world, all those sporting directors, probably with the exception of Fallows because he's only just arrived. Um, you get rid of all of them, like, and you start again. Basically, there has to be a reset this summer at Chelsea. I think that's abundantly clear.
But this is,
Um,
this is the problem. Everyone can see it, apart from the people who are actually making the
yeah,
decisions.
listen,
It's
like,
like,
it's the
what
same
is
thing.
going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, and I think this goes on to the FA Cup final, right? And I think we spoke about this last week. Um, in terms of one game and one appointment doesn't change everything. And I'm not saying that to be like Debbie Downer and try and be like really negative. Both you and I, and everyone listening to this who are Chelsea fans, people inside Wembley, if Chelsea win on Saturday, it will be a wonderful day.
Mm.
Um, it will be a great high point. It will bring so much joy in a season that has been devoid of it. We will celebrate into the night. It will be, one of those great memories for lots of people, right? And rightly so. I have no shame, despite my criticism of the club, that Rocklaw was one of the best 5 football experiences of my life. Like, even though it was a conference league, that whole few days in Poland were incredible.
Yeah.
Um, the that can you can have two things at once, right? Like, I think you can have multiple things at once. Saturday could be a great day. Saturday could be a day for a lot of joy and create some nice memories. Xabi Alonso being appointed would be a very good appointment. It would be one of the most elite appointments this club has made, arguably an entire clear leg, probably the most elite appointment or closest to elite appointments on the face of it that this um, club has made since the Blue Coat takeover. However, those things can't and shouldn't automatically overrule and kind of ignore the fundamental things. Like, the thing that is gonna make you and I not sit on this podcast and repeat ourselves in the future and like talk about the obvious things is like just consistently good, competent decision making that quite clearly looks like progress, tangible progress, obvious progress on the pitch, behind the scenes. So I think that getting back to Alonso, like, I think he could get appointed. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's not going to walk in the door. He quite feasibly could walk in the door. It's what happens after that that, of course, is the defining factor. Um, and although I'd praise the appointment, I think it's the right appointment. That's no guarantee of anything, as we know extensively now.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, and I think for me, it's like the structure needs to adapt and change, and I feel like unfortunately with Chelsea fans, especially over the past few years, because of how Clear Lake and Blueco have basically um, built this model, is that people get the dopamine rush of transfers
Yeah,
or the dopamine rush of, they get the pre-dopamine rush of when it says Chelsea are exploring a deal, where it's like, oh my god, it's Elise, oh my god, it's Kavicha, oh my god, it's Alonso, oh my god, it's like whatever it is, right? And you and I have fallen foul of that, in fairness, because every other club that says they're exploring a deal, 9 times out of 10, and it goes out, gets that deal done. But it's very much a case of Chelsea need to be competent. Chelsea need to be able to deal with situations in a way which an elite club does, which is right. Okay, we're just going to go focus. We're going to get what we need to do done, and this is going to be great, rather than always just
yeah.
worrying about the PR spiel on Bloomberg. Um, but that's why, for me, I'm kind of at peace with it to a certain extent. I just know we're going to end up with Marco Silva, and
I mean,
like
Fulham fans are absolutely like terrified. And it makes me laugh because like I don't want Marco Silva. I don't think I've not met a Chelsea fan who wants Marco Silva like passionately. Like, is really
no.
out there going, yeah, Marco Silva's the guy
Oh no,
we want.
Seb said he wants Marco Silva, which I found interesting. That says a lot. I was very much yeah. I saw Marco. I mean, he's got his knowledge and he's good at certain things, but it's like Mourinho's going to go to Real. Benfica are looking at Marco Silva. That's probably the move that'll be best for him, right? But
Mm.
it's like I look at that. He's another. He feels again very Graham Potter, very Thomas Frank, very
Yeah, I mean,
whatever it is.
it's slightly different because Silva, of course, is vastly more experienced than a Rafinha, right? Like, he's been around for a long, and he actually has worked. I think it is fair to point out a long time ago, but Silva has worked in some pressurized environments a long time ago, right? And
Was
like
Everton? That went well.
worked, yeah, that didn't go well. I think it's like this thing I keep on saying, right? Like, I respect Marco Silva. Like, I don't, I think that I roll my eyes when I hear that people call anyone who hasn't won a trophy, a crap coach, because it's just like that doesn't mean they haven't done a good job. Like I always found one of the things that annoyed me most when Graham Potter was here was people going back and saying that he hadn't won a trophy, he hadn't like won the Premier League at Brighton, and I was like, what planet are people living on? Like where that's like it's like saying right now Areola's not a good enough coach for Chelsea because if you're just looking at his job at Bournemouth, he hasn't won the Premier League, he hasn't got them into the Champions League. It's like he's not expected to do those things. Like it'd be kind of
No, but
wild if he got.
in their defence of those people, right? Chelsea needs someone who knows how to win big trophies.
No, no, yeah, no,
And these
yeah,
guys
no, no,
don't
no,
have
I'm
it.
not. No, I
I'm
make
not.
that
I'm not disputing
argument.
they're
Like,
bad. They're good if they're bad coaches. By the way, I do think Marco
yeah,
Silva's a good
no,
coach. I thought Thomas still think Thomas Frank's a good coach, and I think Graham Potter's a good coach. But they've got their level, and it ain't top
yeah,
six football
yeah,
club.
no, 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 no. It's true, right? Like, no, I'm just saying it's like that simple retort of like, it's like I think it's quite lazy analysis. Like, it just doesn't really appreciate. I'm saying going back in their career and saying like everything they've done is rubbish. It's not that. It's just the balance for what Chelsea need right now, and what
Hmm.
like if Chelsea were, let's say, like the dream scenario, Xabi Alonso comes in, really stabilizes the club. We start actually acting like a big club. And then actually, by the time he wraps up at Chelsea, our sporting director vision is more clarified. Our recruitment is consistently effective. Then I'd be far more comfortable going for an Areola
Hmm.
because it's not just like the jump from like a small club to a big club, which you bake in. It's clearly the structural, well, the lack of structure at Chelsea that's also you add on to that. I think I'd be far more comfortable employing that level of coach and giving that level of coach a chance to jump up to a big club if the whole environment around him was a lot more stable. Like,
Hmm.
I think that is also something we have to factor in that, Arne Slot, I think, very much benefited from walking into an environment that had been clearly so well built with Jurgen Klopp. And he benefited off that, right? And they've struggled since. But like that was clearly something that made his job and the seamless transition really from, at least in season one. I know it's obviously gone wrong now, but from season one, from Klopp to Slot, it works really well. That would be the thing that I'd be thinking about. But right now, that's why I'm just like, I think it has to be Alonso. Out of the realistic option, it has to be Alonso. And I keep on saying it. I'm sorry if listeners to my podcast and his podcast get bored of it. And if you read my stuff, I write about it a lot. You have to have a like Alonso, I think, walks in day one and no one turns round. No one can turn around and go, who is this guy? What has he won? How has he got this job? He's been over promoted. Like no one's anyone making that argument is being laughed out of the room because you can't, it doesn't have any weight to it, firstly. But there is a presence to a Xabi Alonso, isn't there? Like there just is because and it's weird because of course like a lot of that is being brought up because of his playing career, which these players who go into management are always going to have, right? It's why Lampard gets so much media attention. It's why Gerrard does. It's why Rooney did. Like when you have a great playing career, it's always going to mean different things when you walk into a coaching job. It just naturally is. It's unfair to other coaches, but that's what it is. But also, this is a guy who's done an incredible job at Bayer Leverkusen. Like he just objectively did. Like I think that counts for a lot.
Hmm.
And that was a lower starting point really than what he's walking into at Chelsea. If you think about resource, right? Like winning the Bundesliga over Bayern Munich is not some like small thing. It's not.
Hmm.
It's not. You can't call that a flippant kind of easy thing. It's not. If he just walked into Bayern Munich and won the Bundesliga, you'd kind of go, well, I guess he's kind of expected to do that, right?
Well, this is it. This is it, and I think that's why I am quite excited by the prospect of him. But I'm tempering my expectations given the distinct lack of credibility that Blue Co have in the bank. Um,
Yeah.
I, I want to just see what happens in terms of how they tackle this, how they look at it. If the thing is for me, I know, and I think you know full well as well, the more they keep saying the deal, exploring the deal, the more things are happening, the more they're talking about this all the time, you just know it's not going to happen. So we'll have to see what happens. But let's move on to more depressing topics and let's talk about the FA Cup final because I think that that's very much going to be.
Are you do you have any hope? Because I
No.
Stupidly, there's a part of me that has a sneaky feeling that Chelsea might win this game.
So
I know
I'm
I know I'm just setting myself up for failure and setting myself up for watching us barely be able to kick a football. But there is a part of me that goes like, it's happened to Chelsea in FA Cup finals in a negative way before, like when we lost to Arsenal in 2017, Crystal Palace beating Man City last year. Like there is a part of me that goes, Chelsea could just turn up and have a really really good performance, which we know this group can do, and then they'll lose to Spurs. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
there is a part of me that just wonders whether it's Chelsea's day, whether it's like again, it's none of it is logical. None of it is like, I have this great, I like tactically, like there's this really great foundation that Chelsea are going to build off of. No, it's just we've lost so many FA Cup finals in a row. Wembley has been such a disastrous place for us for so long, and also like it just be so typical Chelsea in this season to win an FA Cup on a day where fans are protesting before it. Like
yeah,
it'd be another thing where it's just like, yeah, it's Chelsea, isn't it? Like,
yeah. Well, this is it, and I think very much. I have no hope because you know the sort of person that I am, right? And I very much look at this and I go, I just don't see any situation given Chelsea's current situation where they win the FA Cup. I just don't see it, and I tie that in with the fact that the last six finals we played at Wembley we've lost, whether or not it be through legitimate means, which we all know it wasn't, through multiple occasions. You know, that's by the
or
by.
Tuchel
That's
decided to play Kepa for some stupid reason.
Yeah, yeah, whatever it was, whatever happened, it was just there was something that happened that meant things didn't get over the line like we wanted it to. However, it is an FA Cup final, isn't it? As much as I'm sitting there, I have no hope. For the people that do, and like yourself, we're saying there's something there. It's an FA Cup final. If Wigan can beat
It would be
City, so
funny because it's the worst. It's the worst of it's the worst Chelsea. If we won it, what would make it quite funny is it'd be the worst Chelsea team in any of those finals.
oh,
Like it would be
comfortably,
by
comfortably.
country distance. Like, I mean, I have to say there was a part of me that looked at the City lineup yesterday uh, against Palace, and I went, if West Ham had drawn with Arsenal, because the slight hope of this game has always been that Man City have their attention diverted. They still technically do. Like the title race is not over. Like there is still a chance. Like it's I think it looks like likely it's going to go down to the final day, but there's a chance of
Mm,
it going down to the final day. Um, I like the fact that they've basically not Arsenal can't lift the trophy. I was thinking about this earlier. Like it's great whenever we've won a title, we've always been able to lift it at Stamford Bridge.
yeah,
Um, Arsenal can't do that, which I think is quite funny. And it's just like I'd find that quite a dampener if Chelsea couldn't lift a Premier League title inside Stamford Bridge. It's not like a trophy that you lift in a neutral ground. I always found that's just weird to me. Like it always feels more
yeah. No,
appropriate that you lift it inside your own ground.
I do feel like we're both clutching at straws with that, though, mate. Let's be very honest.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
I've already said to so obviously I do the top six show on the football terrace, and Marty's very much a very positive Arsenal fan, um, and I'm kind of sitting there and I'm like, oh my god, like just if someone could pull something out of the bag, if the Hanta virus could like speed up its process so we can have another lockdown or whatever it is, just something to make sure that we can
Michael
maybe.
Jackson. I mean, listen, Michael Jackson might pull out a thriller on Monday. You never know.
Well, look,
And
like I
Oliver Glasner would get a national statue. Like he would become
Oliver
what
Glasner will become the most like that he's in the running as well. I want Oliver Glasner if he stops Arsenal winning the league. I'm still
if Oliver Glasner stops Arsenal winning the league. I'm sorry, Xabi. I'm sorry, mate. We're bringing in this guy now.
it's like that's it. Um, but I think very much like for us, like City are going to want to do. They're going to win the FA Cup. I mean, I think this you talk about cultures and ingrained mentalities. Pep Guardiola is just going to be like, if I can't win the league, I'm having that one. I want that. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Like that's mine.
yeah.
And that's going to be a
And
case going.
it might be. it might be the end of his time at City as well. Like there is a chance that he bows out at the end of this. So I think he'd want to bow out with um, one big thing. And obviously Haaland didn't play, didn't start the Palace game.
And they still did the
Yeah, I
job, didn't
mean,
they?
yeah, I mean, listen, I on paper City should be winning this game. And even if Chelsea's performance against Liverpool was somewhat improved, I mean, there was a part of me that watched that game and thought these are just two really crap teams, really, like performance wise. And also, like, did Chelsea benefit from a Liverpool team that are fundamentally flawed and have been for a long period of time, and gave them it's kind of Liverpool's thing under Slot that they give teams encouragement to get back into the game. It's kind of what they've been doing at Anfield all season.
Mm.
So I don't know. Like there's hope that Reece is back, Levi's back. Um, I look at the performance against Leeds at Wembley. There was at least something there. Like it seemed like the team that felt like kind of a final performance. Like it's hope. That's all it is. Like I want to go to Wembley with some hope. Like that's all I'm kind of thinking. I don't want to walk up Wembley way like feeling like, oh, we're gonna get trounced 5-0 here today. What's the point in turning up? Still with the understanding that there's a likelihood City are going to win this game. I expect a good performance. I expect something resembling a final performance from Chelsea, for self-respect reason for these players. Like if they can't conjure themselves for a final, then they don't deserve to be
Mm.
playing for Chelsea. That's
Yeah,
like
sure.
what are you doing if you're not turning up for a final?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what be really, really funny though if we do win it? It'll be Callum McFarlane lifting the FA Cup and also being unable to smile. Have you noticed that? Have you seen the
Mm.
picture of him with the FA Youth Cup? The man, like he's incapable of smiling. It's really funny. I don't know what it's like he's trying to smoulder and he's just not. And it's like I look at this like Callum McFarlane gets the FA Cup and I'm just imagining him just going like, oh yeah, oh great, that's fantastic. Yeah, it's like mate, you just won the FA Cup and you're going, "Oh, you know, it's what it is, isn't it?" It's like, wait, what are
Mm.
you talking about? It's It'd be intriguing to see if that happens. I mean, well, before we move on to the Echo 11, then, right? One question to ask, because I was asked this ironically by Marty. He was like, "Oh, if you finish eighth or ninth and you win the FA Cup, is that a good season?"
No,
No, it ain't. You're absolutely right. It's not a good season. It just
no,
covers up
no. I
more.
mean, it's yeah. I listen. Like there is football is about memories and it's about moments and it's about like
Yeah.
uh listen. Like if Chelsea had just finished fourth this season with nothing else, I wouldn't have called it a great season either. Um, but I
I
don't
mean, it
think
depends on confidence. If based on what me and you said was our barometer for a good season at the beginning of the year, which was if we'd finished fourth again, but we closed the gap, I think you and I will be saying it's a good season.
yeah,
How we
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was my big. That was like that was the caveat, right? If we were full
yeah,
30 points away from the eventual champions, then it's not the same conversation as 10 points away from the eventual champions. Um, Obviously that's different, but no, I don't. Again, the game can't. A win on Saturday can't change everything. It can't. It can't eradicate Everton away. It can't eradicate Newcastle at home. It can't eradicate just the truly horrendous performances we have seen for a long period of time. It can't eradicate the fundamental problems that we talk about on a weekly basis because it makes it all kind of like if we turn round on Sunday after winning the FA Cup and go, all right, it's all great again. Like, what have we've learnt nothing? Like, and even if, as we all hope, as we always hope, that things will be turned around and like a win could lead to something greater. Like I will always hope for that. I will always hope for the best for Chelsea. Obviously, every fan wants the best for their football club and hopes that the good times are coming round again. Um, I think we're just being naive, right? Because I think, like last summer, I think we were all. I don't think it was illogical last summer to believe because it was the first. It was the first time under this ownership there were tangible signs of good results. But everything that's happened since that has declined us back to a point kind of where we started with this ownership in 22-23 leads you in a position where, and someone pointed this out to me yesterday, the last time we won the FA Cup was in actually a really bad season, 17-18. Conte, we didn't get the Champions League that year. It was pretty miserable. I don't classify that as a good season. And that was still in the Abramovich era. That was a year after we won the Premier League title, the last Premier League
Yeah.
title we won. So if I don't classify that as a good season where we still had Eden Hazard, I'm not classifying this as a good season either.
No, that's fair, and I think that kind of wraps it up. I think, look, for me, like I very much am in the position where I go, look, if we win the FA Cup, it's a cherry on a turd. You know what I mean? It's like okay, well, great. I'm very very excited, and I'd love to have that feeling. I mean, like I said, I'm doing Talksport goals that game, so I'm not at the game. My dad's taking the ticket for it, so I'm at Talksport, and I'm going to be watching that, and I'm going to be really hoping that we can get the job done. Oh my god, I really hope we get the job done. I'll be willing the ball into the net because that's what I want from us. If we lose and we lose emphatically, that potentially could be a turning point for this ownership where they go, okay, we're so far away, let's bring in a manager and let's change the structure. So there might be some good out of it, but realistically, you're watching that. If we get turned over, which is not unlikely, like I'm very very worried about a Watford esque performance. Like when I say I'm talking about City versus Watford when they got battered. Like that's my that
I
I'm
I
saying.
do I do think it's definitely more realistic that Chelsea lose on Saturday and then beat Spurs than it is, Chelsea winning on Saturday and then beating Spurs like that. I think that's clear. Like it's not. I think a lot of us are worried about the Spurs game, rightly so. Like because we haven't won
Mhm.
at Stamford Bridge since West Ham. I think was the last time we won a Premier League game at Stamford Bridge.
March the 7th, I think it was.
No, that was away. That was at Aston Villa. I'm talking about at
Oh,
Stamford
okay,
Bridge.
yeah.
We
So
have
that
not.
January 31st. Yeah, January 31st.
January
Yeah,
31st was the last Premier League game, and funny enough, that's actually ended up helping Spurs. Because if we'd lost that game, Spurs have been right bang in trouble. Um, but yeah, it's a mess, and I don't know. Should we get into the 11? Because I actually do think we've got, for the first time in a while, there actually is interesting things to say about the 11.
yes, yes. And there's, I think, goalkeeper is probably going to be Sanchez. I think he's going to be fit again.
Hopefully,
Um,
hopefully.
yeah, I really liked the system we played against Liverpool. I really liked it.
Yeah. I think given the um the limited options and finals, it's the big Jose thing, right? Like finals are not there to play well; they're there to win. And the amount of finals you watch, especially when you're the inferior team as well, um, you just have to. It's what Chelsea did against Leeds, really. I think very, very well. You've got to kill the game. You've got to kill momentum. You've got to take every advantage you can. You've got to try and even it up as much as you can. And Chelsea, you've got to try and get in front early and then try and hold on. That's how I think Chelsea win this cup final. Um, and I think that I look at that team. I really like the left side of defense. I thought both Jarell Hato. I think that combination, that trio, really technically on the side, although he played centrally, of Levi, Hato, and Cucurella worked really
Yeah,
well
I agree.
because Cucurella had the protection of Jarell Hato, and it gave him the license to go up the pitch. And we know Cucurella is a nuisance inside the 6 yard box. I mean, if you talk about like benefits of having like our left wing is such a mess in terms of like actual tangible end product. What would you rather have currently? Cucurella being a nuisance, getting himself in that box and making those late runs from a wing back position, or would you rather Garnacho, Neto? I know Gittins is injured at the moment, but like it's I'd out of that combination, I'd go Cucurella. And then it's kind of the conversation of if Reece is going to start, which I think he probably will. Are you starting him in central midfield, where we know he's done some great work before with alongside Moises Caicedo, or is he playing a right centre back role? I mean, I personally, I really liked Enzo, Santos, and Caicedo as well. I
I
really
agree.
like that
Well,
as a midfield
it
trio.
was a balance. It was a balance. Like the thing about Andre Santos, I like in this team the way with him, Caicedo, and Enzo. If you think about the great midfielders of like the modern Premier League era of the midfield threes, they've always had that one player who maybe isn't the best, but he kind of glues everything together. Like I look at I look at Andre Santos in this team like Genie Wijnaldum at Liverpool. I look at him like maybe a Bernardo Silva in that City midfield. Where it was David Silva, Bernardo Silva, and Rodri. I look at that those sort of players. I look at him as almost like the Zubimendi in the Arsenal midfield. He's someone who's like they're good. I mean, that's not me saying any of these players are bad, but they're just not Fabinho. They're just not Rodri. They're just not Caicedo. They're just
Yeah,
not right.
he's. I think Santos could occupy a 7 out of 10 role at Chelsea. Like he's
Yeah.
just a consistently effective player. I mean, there is a side to him that I think a lot of us would like to see, his goal scoring and attacking side that we saw at Strasbourg. I still think there is that part of him that unfortunately just hasn't really come out at all at Chelsea. So there maybe is that part of him that could develop. But absolutely, in
Hmm.
terms of physically, in terms of covering ground, what you need in the Premier League, I did feel like last summer that Santos, Caicedo, and Enzo maybe would be the long term midfield three. So I guess in that, if we stick with that midfield three or midfield kind of configuration, then you probably are having Reece right centre back, I assume, because you're probably not going to play him at right wing back, are you?
No, I mean, fair, they didn't play wing backs against Liverpool. I mean, Cucurella was playing as a left
Yeah,
midfielder.
it was kind of a tilted. I mean, yeah, it was kind of a tilted kind of hybrid system, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean,
It was
if you were to
more,
write it
yeah,
down, yeah, write it down on a piece of paper if you can right back. Like for me, my team, Sanchez, shudder, but best of bad bunch. Hatto, Colwill, Trev if he's fit, um, and then Reese as my back four, and then I've got Cucurella left wing. I've got I've got Palmer on the right. I've got Enzo, Caicedo, Andre Santos midfield three, and then I've got João Pedro up front. That's my
no,
team.
I firmly the only alteration I'd make is maybe you move if you're going more back, like if back three is kind of more cemented in this game, then maybe you'd put Josh Achimpong there, but he ain't going to do it. Like he just isn't in an FA Cup final. Like there's no no evidence he's done it. No, I agree with you. I think that's a fair team. I think that's a fair team. I think out of the current players, out of the like dynamics and abilities and attributes that all those players give you, maybe there's enough there to conjure something. You'd be looking at Enzo Fernandez primarily. I think is the one who's going to score the winner in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sadly, or Palmer, we get big game Cole Palmer again. Like he somehow conjures an amazing final performance, which he's done in the last 2 finals we played. So there maybe is that potential, but I agree with you that probably has to be the starting 11.
Yeah. We'll see. But anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts. What is your start 11 for Chelsea's FA Cup final against Manchester City? Do you think that they'll win it? And if we do, does that maybe scratch an itch for what has been a very, very poor season? If you have enjoyed the pod, please make sure you give us a 5-star review if you are listening on all good audio platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a like on the video and drop a sub as well. Get down in the comments. Let's know all your thoughts on the obviously breakfast derbies, which we were talking about at the beginning, but also everything we have discussed in the pod. Make sure you head across to Dan's channel, which is probably going to be floating on the screen somewhere right now. Drop a sub because Dan will be doing stuff over there as well. And of course, make sure you enjoy the FA Cup final to the best of your ability. But I've been Louis,
I've been done.
and this has been the Chelsea Echo. We'll see you later.